Hey y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living, vibrant life coach, teacher, writer, and today I got a question for you. And that is, knowing that the Sanskrit word moksha refers to liberation, and you, I am guessing like me, are interested in freedom, in autonomy, in possibility, in independence. What does freedom mean to you? And what in your life where in your life do you really have freedom? And I suggest to you that, in fact, there are three ways that we have freedom in our life. And we live in some pretty crazy times, right? Where there's a lot of chaos out there and a lot of stimulus, a lot of energy grabbing, any attention grabbing that comes to us from the outside. So how in the midst of all of that, an accelerated world, do we create our own freedom? Now, part of how I got to be here and why I'm sharing with you, I'll tell you how this worked in my life. When I was, just about 30 years ago, I got the word just a couple days before Thanksgiving that my sister Casey had finally succeeded in killing herself. She'd tried a few times before. She jumped from the Coronado Bridge in just outside of San Diego, and she finally succeeded. And it brought up a lot for me, as you can imagine, as any suicide does for people close to it. And one of the big invitations that came from it is, one, what do I focus on? Two, what does it mean? And three, what do I do with it? Which, by the way, are the three things that we always have choice about in our life. What does it mean? What do I focus on? And what do I do about it? Now, for me, for years, when that incident occurred and the years after that, I felt stuck. I felt guilty. I felt bad. I felt responsible. I felt confused. I felt unable to love. I felt unworthy. I felt all kinds of things. And I won't tell you all about what my process was in coming to terms with or utilizing all of that. I will share this with you, though. It was a process, and it formed a lot of why I'm here now. In other words, what my sister had was a way of looking at the world that resulted in her feeling bad, resulted in her feeling unempowered, resulted in pain. And it wasn't the world, it was the way she had learned to look at the world. And it was, as you would guess, for me and my family, a tragic incident. And part of what it resulted in for me was I want and need to understand how I work, how the mind works, how the heart works. Because no matter what our childhood, yes, there were a lot of difficulties and pains and traumas in our childhood. No matter what those were, we still have choice as to what we focus on and what meaning we create. And from those comes to what actions do we create. So for me, my sister killing herself meant that I needed to understand how I work. It meant that I want to understand how people work, how healing works, how transformation works. And because I didn't have the resources at the time to be able to help my sister, I was a young man and I had my own issues and challenges, overweight teenager that I was, right? I didn't have the resources or the ability to help her then. And when I came out of that experience from her death, it took me a while to be able to make peace with it for myself, and then to be able to utilize it and say, what happened, what went wrong, and how can I utilize this going forward? And so that's been one of the big drivers for me in my mission in life, which is to help as many people as possible transform their lives into art, into a masterpiece, into a life that is meaningful and contributing to the whole. So, if I rewind, here are the 3 freedoms I offer to you for your consideration in your life right now. Number 1, what do you focus on? Because right now, could you find something to complain about? Right, some of you know I'm right in the midst of doing the complaint-free challenge a second time. I'm on day 7. And so right now, could you find something to complain about? Oh yeah. Right, there's a lot that is worth complaining about in life right now. Could you, if you wanted to, find something to be grateful for? Yeah, of course you could. So much. And right now, if you focus on something to complain about, or you focus on something to be grateful for, will it make a difference in how you feel, in how you see the world, and the actions you take? Guaranteed. But only every time. So question number 1, what do you focus on? We get to choose that. Number 2, what meaning do we make out of it? And of course, for a time after my sister killed herself, the meaning I made was, I'm a bad brother. I'm not worthy of love. I too will go crazy. I too could. And then later I learned to make a different meaning out of that, which is, I am obsessed with learning how the mind and heart works. I'm obsessed with helping people. I'm obsessed to living out up to my own potential. Number 2, what meaning do you make out of anything in life? You alone have control over that. And number 3, what action do you take? Right? Because our life in the end comes down to the decisions we make, the actions we take. What are we going to do? So as you listen to all of this and hear what I'm saying, and as you launch yourself into, you're probably already on your way, into this holy days season, this holiday season, 1, what are you going to focus on? Because there's a lot of materialism to focus on. Nothing wrong with that. It's one possibility. There's also perhaps a different spirit or a different meaning. That's the number 2 question. What meaning do you want to make out of this holiday season? Right? Do you want to focus on love, on family, on friends, on gratitude, on enjoying, on health? You could. Right? And with all of the rituals that are out there, the rituals are physical movements or physical actions, the Newtonian material world manipulation. What counts, though, is what do we make those mean? Right? Is it about the present, or is it about the energy of it? Is it about who's making what dish, or who had this, or is it about how we are together in our community, in our family? And then number 3, what action do you want to take? These are the 3 freedoms. I hope they are interesting. I hope they are useful. Most of all, I hope that you create a magical, amazing holy days, right? A days of holiness where we infuse this holiday period with joy, with gratitude, with love. Because we get to choose. We can do that. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I love you, and I wish you happy holy days.